All right. I'm Samantha Holland. This is the role play assignment for Social Work 340. So I'm currently studying abroad in Australia, and so this assignment will only be assessing me. These are two friends that I have here, and they're just helping me out with this process. So this is Ashley. She's going to be playing Mrs. Andrews, who is a 50-year-old Caucasian female, and she's the mother of the adopted daughter, Catherine, who is an 18-year-old Filipino female. Mrs. Andrews, in this situation, is hesitant about allowing her daughter to meet her biological mother. So they've come to an adoption specialist, which would be me in this situation, to discuss the pros and cons of this decision. This roleplay takes place at a privately run facility that deals with adoption. However, adoption social workers can work in a variety of locations, both privately run and government run. They often must split their time between their office, adoptive families' homes, foster homes, schools, hospitals, and other workplaces. This scene will depict a situation in which Mrs. Andrews and Catherine come to talk to a social worker about their options and to help make a decision on whether or not Catherine should meet her biological mother. As mentioned, I will be playing the adoption specialist who is a social worker, and I will be covering the topic of confidentiality, an attempt to show reflection of feeling, paraphrasing, clarification, open-ended questions, and a variety of attending behaviors. Hello, Mrs. Andrews. My name is Megan, and I'm the adoption specialist here at this center. Before we get started today, I wanted to cover confidentiality with both of you guys. So everything that we do talk about today is confidential, unless I have reason to believe that someone else's safety is at risk or you. I will also not share anything that we talk about unless both of you guys give me permission to share that information. Does that make sense, both of you guys?
Yeah, that makes sense. Nice to meet you, Megan. This is my daughter, Catherine.
Hi.
And yeah, sounds great.
All right. Hi, Catherine. It's nice to meet both of you guys. I've been told that you and your daughter have been discussing the idea of meeting her biological mother.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to see where both of you guys currently stand on this and maybe answer some of your questions and concerns that you may have. Why don't we start with each of you explaining what the situation is with me?
Okay, so I recently turned 18, and I've always wanted to meet my biological birth mother, and I was told that when I turned 18, it was an option to me. And I love my parents, and I appreciate everything they do for me, but I also do feel the need to meet her and ask some questions and figure out how it all came to be. And my mom thinks it's a bad idea, and that I'll only get hurt.
Okay, that makes sense, Catherine. You have questions that only your birth mother can answer, and you feel that you're ready at this point in your life to get those questions answered. But you also don't want to hurt your mother's feelings by meeting your birth mother without her permission. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't want to upset her, but I also want her to understand where I'm coming from.
Okay.
I do understand, Catherine, but I need more information first. I'm just worried about you.
What's your biggest concern or worry when it comes to meeting her birth mother, Miss Andrews?
Well, my husband and I adopted Catherine when she was just a baby, and you see, I was not able to get pregnant. So when we got Catherine, she became our whole world, and I just worry she'll be let down or hurt by this process.
Well, there are plenty of options for you in this situation that we can definitely talk about. And we can see if any of them make you feel more comfortable. Would you be open to looking at different options with this?
Yeah, I'm opening to hear some of the options. I just want her to be happy.
Okay, that's good. I understand that this is hard for you, but I'm glad to see that you're open to these ideas. Before we go into the options, though, I'd like to talk about maybe your life and living situation. I know that you mentioned your husband. Are you guys still together?
Yes, we are still married. He couldn't attend today because of a work conflict. He really wanted to be here because he's mentioned concern about Catherine meeting her.
That's not true. He said he agrees that it's my decision and that he has my back, but also wants to hear all of my options.
Okay, so it kind of seems like your family is split on this decision. This situation seems like a bit of a conflict. Mrs. Andrews, it seems like you're pretty upset by that comment. How does Catherine's comment make you feel?
Well, me and my husband have actually been fighting quite frequently about this decision, which is another reason why we had to come in today. It's hard to feel like I'm the bad guy in this situation. No one seems to feel the same way that I do.
If I may, It sounds like maybe you feel this way because you were the one who raised Catherine, you cared for her as any mother would, and now she's older and she's talking about wanting to meet another important woman in her life, and that makes you feel like you're losing her. Does that sound kind of accurate?
I guess that does make some sense. I don't want to lose Catherine. She's my daughter, and I love being her mother.
I will always be your daughter, but I also need to do this, or I will always wonder these questions. And I really want to meet her and get to know her, but I don't want to hurt you in the process.
This is good. It's important to talk about these feelings. Catherine, it seems like you're pretty confident and set in your decision to meet your birth mother. Have either of you made contact with her to see if she's willing to meet with you guys? Or meet with Catherine?
No, I tried looking for her, but I've been unable to get into contact, and I was hoping that you could help me with that.
Yes, that's definitely something that we can help you with, and we can have a conversation with about that. Now that you're 18, everything is public record when it comes to adoption. So it shouldn't be too difficult to find her and be able to send her a message and explain the situation and that you want to meet her. It does come down to you though, Mrs. Andrews. Catherine's old enough to legally make this decision on her own, but I know that she would definitely feel more comfortable if you were approving of this. If you'd like, I think it's a good time to maybe discuss some of the options that we both have and see if you feel comfortable. Hi, Catherine. It's good to see you again. How have you been since the last time we talked?
I've been good. I was able to meet my birth mother, and my parents and I have made a lot of progress in our counseling sessions.
That's great to hear. The last time we talked, we discussed options about with your mother and talked about the best approach to meeting your birth mother. And then we also discussed at the end the idea of you and your family going to counseling sessions and sitting down with a therapist to talk about the current conflict within your family. But it seems like everything's been going as planned.
Yeah, thank you so much for your help. My mom apologizes for not being here today, but thought it might be a good idea for just us to talk.
Yeah, I agree. I think we can use this time to talk about how you've been feeling throughout this entire process.
Well, meeting my birth mother was very stressful. My parents were nervous, and that made me very stressed out about the whole stress situation, but once I got there, everything was pretty much fine.
Okay, so what do you mean by pretty much? Did something happen that you didn't expect?
Well, I wasn't really sure what to expect. I'd seen a few pictures of her, but other than that, I knew nothing really about my birth mother. I think maybe I had a bit of a high expectation for the whole thing.
Okay, and that's understandable. This is a big moment, and you wanted it to be perfect. You wanted it to be just how you imagined it. I discussed with your family's therapist the idea of maintaining expectations. Was that something she was able to talk to you about in your last session?
Yeah, we did talk about it briefly, but I still think that no matter what, I was going to have a certain expectation in my head.
Okay. So, would you like to maybe discuss what your expectations were beforehand and what actually happened when you met her?
Sure. When my mom and I arrived, we were brought into a small waiting room where they contacted my birth mother. Since she's in rehab, she can only have select visitors, but since we were on the list, she was able to sign us in. And then we went to a private room where my mom waited outside, and I was able to have a one-on-one talk with her.
Okay. How did you feel having to walk into a rehabilitation center in order to talk to her? Was that difficult to see?
Well, I guess since I didn't know her before, it wasn't too difficult, but that was only one of the things that made me feel down about the whole thing.
Then once you started talking, did everything go well?
Yeah, for the most part, she was really easy to talk to, and she was able to answer all of my questions. I guess part of it was that some of the answers weren't really what I was hoping for.
In what way? Would you want to give me an example of that?
It's hard to explain, but I think it goes back to my expectations. It was weird to hear her answers when, for 18 years, I've had a different image of her in my head.
So what you're saying is that for your whole life, you had an image in your head of who your birth mother was and what she would be like and all of that. And the answers to all of your questions weren't exactly the same as you imagined them to be.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay. Well, I think that this has been a productive session. I think it's important for us to keep talking and maintaining our expectations, especially if you're going to keep meeting with your birth mother.